Alright, you guys, so the episode, it opens up and, it picks up where last week's episode left off. So they're going to get Andre so they can take him to court to testify against Alicia Jimenez. So Donovan, he's telling one of the cops, to parole the perimeter just to make sure everything is good so that way there's no issues when they try to get Andre out to go to the courtroom. So, Donovan notices something's off, and then they see a shadow of someone walking by the door, and he calls for the cop that he sent out there, but no answer. So that's when they figure out, okay, somebody knows we're here with Andre. So then we know a person comes in and they just start blasting, shooting every cop. Then the cops will take one person out. Then another person will come in and take those cops out, and the cops will just, it was just a back and forth of cops taking out, bad guys taking out the cops. So it did end. Like I said, all the other cops are dead, and so Donovan was holding Dre's daughter, and Dre kept telling him to give her to him, which he never did. But in the melee of this, Donovan got hit by a bullet, and so he gave at the end of it, he gave Dre his little girl. He told Dre to get down. So and also Andre wanted a gun. He told him, "Nah, you can't have no gun. Like, what you think this is?" So then, like I said, all the other cops are dead. So then Andre goes and takes one of their guns, and he comes up to Donovan, pointing the gun at Donovan. And Donovan's like, "Man, just like you, I got a daughter." And Andre's like, "Man, bump that." And Andre just takes the gun, points it at Donovan, and boom, shoots him and kills him right in front of his daughter, who then had blood guts splattered all over her. I'm like, damn, man, you gonna kill somebody in front of your child? Wow. Cold-blooded and a little bit heartless, if you want me to be honest. But, yeah. Interesting, Andre. So then we see, so we see, so we see as Andre tries to, leave. I guess he was at maybe like a bus station or an airport. He was trying to leave, but the feds hemmed his ass up and arrested him. So then we see the new boss talking to Sax, and he's telling Sax that Donovan is dead. So, and he's also telling him the reason why he's dead because of, this whole mess with Andre Coleman. And he asked, Sax, like, how many people did you tell? And Sax like, I didn't know anything until that asshole, Steve Tampio told me yesterday at Angela's funeral. And, new boss is like, he really don't care. But what he does need him to do is clean this up because he is not going to, lose Alicia Jimenez. So then we see Sax, he's talking to Dre at the office, and Dre's he tells him, well, Sax asks Dre what happened, and he says that they were supposed to protect him, but he says, you know what, Angela's dead, right? Because this was all her, but you can protect me no more than you can protect Angela. So Sax says, you know what, if he keeps up his end of the deal, he will move him. And then Dre says, I ain't doing no shit like that. Like, no. Like, because, Dre is afraid of Alicia Jimenez and, her retaliating against him. And Sax basically tells him, like, unfortunately, motherfucker, you ain't got a choice in the matter. So then later in the episode, this is the last part of the episode, and I'm going to go ahead and talk about it now, and then we'll get into it a little bit later. So eventually Alicia Jimenez didn't die in this episode. And, Sax is telling Andre, like, with her dead, there's nothing we can do with you. Like, if the FBI wants to come after you for, the drugs, they can absolutely 100% do that. But you are a free man. And, you can't take your daughter with you. That was part of your deal. And the deal is actually null and void now that Alicia Jimenez is dead. But he did tell him there was a big but to this. They'll help him. They'll take care of everything for him. But, he has to work with Sax to bring Angela's killer to justice, who he thinks is, once again, James St. Patrick. And then, what's his name? Andre tells him, well, you know what? I saw him at the courthouse. And I'm like, really? That's all it took for you. You just snitching for no reason. Like really, Andre is a complete and total biatch. A total fucking bitch. We're gonna move on, you guys. All right, you guys. So next we got Blanca. So Blanca's talking to Sax, and she's talking to Sax and saying to Sax, like, she wonders if Donovan's murder has anything to do with, Angela's death. And then Sax is telling her. I think he said maybe I don't know if he was talking about Ghost or what, but was pointing fingers toward Alicia Jimenez. And she was like, "So Alicia Jimenez, do you think she did it?" He doesn't know. So then, the question comes up if Angela was in fact working with, James, with Tommy, to cover up that Rico case, which we all know what the deal was. And, she says, well, if that's the case, then that would mean that, James St. Patrick didn't kill her, which he did not kill her. So then Blanca decides to mention the fact that Terry and Tasha were sleeping with each other. I'm like, why? She gets on my nerves. She can catch a bullet too. So like I said again, they're just wondering if it was in fact Ghost who killed Angela, which he did not kill her. So then we also see Sax. He was with Lindsay, which is Proctor's ex-wife, and they're talking about this illegal wiretap, and she's just sitting there wondering like, okay, this is completely illegal, so if this shit cannot come back on me. Like I will be screwed if this come back and bite me, which you really would be. Like, why would you be? And I don't get Lindsay. Like, why is she so stupid to work with Sax? Like, didn't Sax and Mock and Sax try to work with her last season? Like, come on, girl. Like, be smart. Like, Sax is just trying to use you, to cover his own tracks. And I just don't get why she's too stupid to see that. Like, stupid as hell. All right, you guys. So next we see Councilman Tate. So he's at his crib and he is blowing some chick's, back out. So then he gets a call about his campaign from the DNC. They're very impressed, with everything that he's done with the campaign. And they're going to, they've decided, hey, we're going to send you some help down just to help you out with things. So then he goes back to the team. He's telling the team the good news. Now, the girl that he was blowing her back out earlier, she works for him, and she's also connected to the dude that Tate beat up last week. So then there's a woman by the name of Ramona. I didn't get her last name. She comes in, and she basically fires half of Tate's staff. And then she questions Tate. She's like, "So, who is this James St. Patrick you've been working so closely with? Like, what more information can you give me on him?" And he doesn't want to give up any information on James, however. So then we see Tate, and he's talking to James, and there's nothing going on with the Queen's Child Project, and Ghost wants to know what's going on with that. So Tate tells him, basically they have no money, and that the city council is not, backing them up at all. So then James notices Ramona, like he was like, well, who is that? He says, oh, so the DNC sent her here basically to re-energize my campaign. And he was like, I cannot let her see you around here, so go out the back way. I'm like, wow, interesting how he did that. So then we see Ghost. He's meeting with Ramona, and he's trying to make some common ground with Ramona about their upbringing, and they do make a little bit of commonality with one another. And she starts questioning him about everything that she saw, with him in that case last season or a few seasons ago when he was in jail, and then about this Angela thing. And basically, in a nutshell, James is telling her, don't believe everything that you see or read. Sometimes things can be fabricated, which that is 100% true. But I think once she gets to know you, she'll see you for the real person that you are, which is a selfish, vindictive asshole. Just saying. So then, James tells her that, she tells him that she wants to get a feel for him, and he says vice versa. So then we do see Tate, he's going, he's talking to his team, and Ramona comes in again. And this time she comes in with James, who was in a meeting with them. And, what they want for this is, while Tate is out on the campaign trail, she wants for Ghost and Tasha to be like a united front, campaigning for him in the city. And James like, well, that's not going to be able to happen. And she's like, why? He tells her because Tasha and I are going through a divorce right about now, so it'll just be me. Um, and the look on her face, I was like, is she happy? Is she not happy? I couldn't read her very well. So then we see Tasha. She's meeting up with Tate, and she's meeting up with Ramona. Tate is putting on the nice guy, the good guy act, and Tasha was like, really drop it. Like you used me with the death of my daughter. Like I'm not gonna play your games anymore. So then they and then Tasha's like, wait a minute, y'all want something from me because James is not here. Like, what do you want? So they tell her that we want you to work the circuit with him, and she's like, oh, so you want me to pretend like we are a happy family in public, but behind the scenes we have this burning sack of crap of a marriage. And Ramona tells her, she understands where she's going from because her husband too cheated on her. And then Tasha's like, you know what? If y'all want my help, I'm gonna need something from y'all. And they were like, what? She's like, I need permits for child care. I need insurance. I need all that kind of stuff. Things to keep a business running afloat, especially in the child care industry. And Tate was like, no. Ramona says, gotcha. So I guess we're gonna see Angela and oh shit, wrong person. Tasha and Ghost playing husband and wife again. All right, next you guys we see Tommy and Keisha. So they go meet up with that new crackpot crew that Tommy has with Two Bit, Spanky, and I forget that other dude's name. So they see Tommy. He pulls up with Keisha, and they're like, "What the hell is she doing here?" Two Bit unfortunately is not here for her, and Spanky tries to tell him like, "Man, you need to calm that shit down," which he does. So then the big dude, he takes Tommy to a room and he opens it and there's a lot of money in that room, and Tommy's like, what the fuck, man? Like, what am I gonna do? Because Tommy has too much money now. He has a lot of dirty money, but he doesn't have any clean money to exchange the dirty money with. So now he's in a big freaking predicament. So then we see Tommy, he's with Tasha, and he's telling Tasha, he needs clean money. And she's like, you know what? I can't help you because I'm in a tough pickle right now myself. Like, I need money. I need money. And he says, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna talk to Keisha, and I'm gonna try to get Keisha to help you with her in the salon. And Tasha's like, Keisha's not gonna go for that. And Tommy's like, well, she's gonna have to get over that eventually. And I'm like, okay. So then he gets a text message from Jason, and it's telling him to meet up. So then we see Tommy. He meets up with Jason, and Jason is upset about Alicia Jimenez. And he's still upset about these ports that he wants from Alicia. So we see Jason, and he's talking to both Ghost and to Tommy, and he wants both of them to bring Alicia Jimenez to him. And they like, what do you want me to do? Like, she's in custody by the federal, the FBI. She's in police custody. How am I supposed to break her out? And Jason's like, that's up to you to figure out. Like, I don't really give a shit how you do it. Just make sure that you do it. And Jason gives them both the same deal. So, because Tommy has to pay him. So if whoever brings Alicia Jimenez to him, they are scot free for one payment. I'm like, ooh, if I was Ghost, I would want that to be me with the, what was it, 10 G's he got to give him every week. Like, yeah, I would hope it. If I was Ghost, I'd be like, let me move heaven and earth to get you Alicia freaking Jimenez. Like, literally, that's all I would do. I would try to figure everything out. All right, so next we see both Ghost and Tommy, talking to Proctor, trying to get information about Alicia Jimenez and her court case. So Ghost tries to play the guilt trip of like, this is my life, man. I need this. And we see Tommy on the other end with the fear tactic, and it's so funny, like I said earlier, Proctor's daughter has that bug on her backpack. And, she was in there, and, Proctor told her to go upstairs. And she did go upstairs, but she forgot the backpack. But then she came back down and got the backpack. I'm like, oh, Tommy, you lucky than a son of a bitch. Because if you had kept saying that right there, Sax would have had you for a lot of stuff. But for right now, Tommy looks like he's gonna get away with this. Um. So then we see again Tommy with the crab shack crew again. So this time they're planning on how they're gonna break Alicia out, and then they realize like they need someone in there, particularly in the ladies' room, and then Keisha walks in, and Tommy's like, got it. So we see as everyone is in place to break Alicia out of custody. We see Ghost there. We see Keisha. As she was getting ready to go into the courtroom, she turned around. I'm like, you are going to mess this up, ain't you? But no, she went into the courtroom. So then we see Alicia. She's at the desk, and she's drinking some water. And then out of nowhere, she just starts choking. So then they come in. They take Alicia out, take her to the restroom. And then Keisha's in another stall that says out of order. And, Keisha texts Tommy and tells Tommy she's here. So then we see Two Bit and Spanky. They go into the restroom. They get her out. Then they take her, they put her on the stretcher and they roll her out. And as they're rolling her out, Ghost sees and, he's following because he's at the elevator. So he gets on the elevator. He rides it down to his car that he's in. And then, he pulls up by where the ambulance is and he sees Tommy. So then Tommy's crew puts her in the back of the ambulance. They pull off. And then the big guy, he, backs up and blocks in, some of the police cars so that way they can't follow where this alleged ambulance is going to. So then, this leads, Alicia, she comes to and she's in front of Jason. And, Jason is asking her, about the Porsche. He wants to make a deal with her. And she's like, absolutely no deal. And then Jason just flat out kills Alicia. And I'm like, wow. So you asked him to bring Alicia to you just so you could kill her? And even Tommy asked that question, like, so you just wanted me to bring her to you so you could kill her? And he was like, yeah, that was the plan all along. I'm like, whoa, okay. Jason is playing a game. And Tommy and Ghost are falling right into that game that he's playing. But basically what it was so Jason wanted to see who could bring Alicia to him. And he was really surprised that it was Tommy. Hell, even I was surprised that it was Tommy. To be quite honest with you. So then we see Ghost. He's talking to Proctor, and he asks Proctor, like, why did you help Tommy? And, Proctor's like, well, shit, he's scary. He shot a man in front of me. My daughter was here, and Ghost basically don't care. I'm like, wow. Again, selfish. So freaking selfish. Like, Ghost gets on my nerves with his selfishness. So, he's talking about, man, I ain't got no money. Like, what am I supposed to do? And, Proctor's like, you know a way to get some money? And then we see him talking to Simon. And, Simon says, I'll give you the money. But Simon's interest rate has gone skyrocketed. I'm like, ooh. Simon is a loan shark, huh? So then we see Keisha. She's with Tommy, and Keisha's just proud of herself. So, Tommy asks Keisha, will she work with Tasha? She says, I'm not working with no damn Tasha. Like, I got this. Like, I don't need Tasha to be able to clean this money. Like, I know how to do it, and I got it. I'm like, girl, I hope you got it, and I hope you mess it up. Just fuck it up, please. Then Tommy will be forced to kill you. Just saying. So then we see Ghost. He calls Tommy, and he's trying to figure out like why everybody doing the same job. And he says, he says to Tommy, that Jason is playing us, right? He says, yeah. And so he was like, well, why don't we work together? And Tommy tells him, no, fuck you, and hangs up. He says, next time he see him, it ain't gonna be Christmas Day when he see him. I'm like, ooh, wow. I would have thought they would work together to take Jason out. And I still think they might. We'll see. All right, so next we see Tasha. So Tasha goes to pick Yaz up from her mom's. And, she's like, I'm sorry that I'm late. And her mom's like, girl, you smell like weed. And then Yaz will run up to Tasha and she's like, Mommy, you smell funny. I'm like, yep, that's that weed, baby girl. So Tasha's mom is also watching some other kids. And, Tasha notices as one of the parents comes to pick up their kids that they paying her mama. She's like, I'm like, uh-oh, Tasha got a plan. So we see Tasha, she's talking to her mom. She's like, so, what'll happen if a child has to go to the hospital? Like, what you gonna do? Like, what are you gonna do about insurance? Like, what if the parent try to turn you in or whatever? Anything, you don't have permits for this. You don't have insurance. You don't have anything. She's like, we gotta get this. She's like, how about me and you go into business together? Her mama like, I'm supposed to be a retirement age. What you need to do, however, is worry about fixing your marriage to ghosts. And that's all her mama's concerned about. Her mama never wants to work again, but she doesn't care about her child's happiness, and that's really jacked up that she don't even care about Tasha's happiness long enough to say, okay, I know you in a bad position, but it's gonna be okay. We'll figure it out. Nope. Like that is so sad. So then we see Tasha. She's having dinner with Tariq and Yas. And, she's like, Tariq, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I just want to come down and check on you and Yaz. And he asks herself, like, where's my bed at? Where's my bedroom at? She's like, Yaz is going to stay with your dad for the weekend, so you can sleep in Yaz's bed. He's like, Yaz's bed is not big enough for me. She's like, okay, you can sleep on the air mattress. She's like, that deflates. Oh, I hate air mattresses. And then she says, well, hell, take the couch. And then, then she's like, because she says times are hard, Tariq. He says, so ghosts ain't helping you pay for nothing. And he says, well, mama, here, take this money. She was like, where did you get this money from? He said it was from Canaan. She said, get rid of that money or I will burn it. And instead of him telling her that he can't tell her that it's drug money. So then, there's a knock at the door and Ghost is there. And Ghost is there to tell her that he won't be able to take Yaz for the weekend. So then he comes in, he's like, Tasha, what the hell is this place? Like, what's going on? And then Tariq tries to chime in and they both say, mind your business. So then she's like, you know what? If you and Tariq don't like this place, y'all can go back to your penthouse and have a fun time there. So, they do go to the penthouse. And once they get to the penthouse, so Tariq is actually in the city, because Ghost asked him, like, why are you in the city? And he's actually there because he's trying to score some pills. But we're going to get into that in just a minute. All right, so at Choke, Tariq is being very flashy. Now, he got a watch on. He got some neck jewelry on, like necklace. I'm like, wow, you been a little bit flashy and braggadocious, right? So then Effie comes in and she says the same thing. She's like, why y'all got so much? Why you got all this stuff on? Like, you just making it kind of obvious. And then, she tells him she's out of pills and she needs more pills. So that this leads back to Tariq being in the city. So Ghost asks him why was he there. He's there to get the pills. So then he goes, Ghost tells Tariq, like, hey, I thought your Uncle Tommy was dead, but he ain't dead. And he's like, how long did you know? Like, how long did you know that he was alive? And you lied to me. And, he's like, I don't even know if I can trust you because you didn't tell me that Tommy was alive. And if he continues to rock with Tommy, then he ain't going to be able to, it ain't nothing between them. He won't be able to trust him. So then once, James leaves for the day, Tariq goes into Raina's room and gets some pills. And then he goes back and he gives it to Effie and to his roommate to go and sell. And they're like, this is it. He's like, I'm low. So then in the last scene that I'm going to talk about, not the last scene of the episode, but the last scene that I'm talking about, Effie comes back into the room, and there's some girls in there with Tariq's roommate. He tells them to get out. And then, Tariq tells her there's a lot of shit going on back home. And then she tells him, I understand, because, her mom is in a bad situation since her brother died. And then, she asks about Raina, and he tells her how he feels like he's alone. She's like, you're not alone. You got me. And he tells her that, he ran out of pills and that he doesn't have a distributor, a connect, which we all know that. But I do eventually see Tariq getting somehow intertwined with Jason. I just see it coming. Don't know how, but I see it. All right, you guys. So that is the review. Be sure to like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button, and also share this video, and I will see you guys later.